Subscribe to us on all the social media apps like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can listen to us wherever you download your podcasts.
Black Adam.
Later.
This is Shazam 2, technically?
I guess you could say that. I mean, because he and Shazam are very, very intertwined in the comics.
All right, let's watch it and see what we think.
Hey out there in podcast land. What is going on out there, all my pop culture lovers? You're listening to Comic Construct with me, Jason Elliott, and my boy, Sean Z.
I do like the song choice for the commercial.
Yeah. You got like the Middle Eastern flavor in there.
Yeah, definitely. But also you got Kanye and Jay-Z in there. I think that. Who are those other characters you were talking about that were in there?
Okay, you saw
pull that mic a little closer.
You saw Hawkman. So Hawkman, has the nth metal. He's from the planet Thanagar.
Okay, so
he's kind of like he gets resurrected ever so often. He and Hawkgirl get resurrected every year. So like the thing is, they've lived so long in different times. They die and then they get resurrected, and they come back in different times.
Okay, so this is not attached to.
It is
Henry Cavill.
It's in that world, but it's not so interconnected.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting because we were talking about who's the actor who plays Flash?
Oh, Ezra Miller?
Okay, so the plan was for him to go, and it's still coming out. The film's done.
Yeah.
So he's going to see Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's last reprisal as Batman. It's a shame.
And Keaton's going to be the Batman going forward.
No shit?
Yeah.
All right, so I love Keaton. But maybe they can make it work with the Flash. But what if you told me a while ago when we had the Matt Reeves discussion, you wanted to see the universe with Ben Affleck keep expanding, right?
Yeah, I wanted to, but the thing is, it seemed like Ben Affleck is basically saying, "Hey, this is my last go round. This Flash movie." I wanted to see that solo movie that he had written. Where Deathstroke was going to be, the big bad in that one. It was going to be a Batman solo film in between
with Joe Manganiello. You really wanted to see that.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, he's at the end of Justice League. When they're talking about, oh, we need to form our own team. And the theatrical version, much maligned theatrical version, and he had trained for it, everything, dude. I mean, he committed months and months of himself to that, but now it's they decided to go in another direction, especially with the 4-hour Snyder cut. Really, everybody preferring that one.
Everybody
to the theatrical.
You're not joking about that.
Yeah, because I mean, I watched all 4 hours.
So did I, but to the average viewer, it's a grind for people who don't understand the beauty and what went into it for Snyder.
Well, the thing is, you watch 2 hours at a time. You get your 2 hours in, because that's what I did. I did 2 hours during the day and then 2 hours at night, and it's a very, very. It's to me, it's better. It's way better than what we got from Whedon. Because the thing is, and I know the reason why they brought in Joss Whedon. He struck gold with the Avengers. No, I mean the thing is, these are different heroes, and they thought that his magic on that could lead to magic on this, and no, it didn't.
Was there
happen.
any pushback on Whedon's Avengers?
Age of Ultron didn't receive the biggest.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thing. I mean, it was a good sequel, but I don't think people liked it as much as they did the Avengers. I mean, but the thing is, he had a lot of fights behind the scenes with Marvel. So, getting back to Black Adam, it's different. You're dealing with, somebody that's not that, that average white dude.
What do you think of The Rock being a superhero?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, why didn't he do this before? Play a superhero before. You have to think, he was waiting for the right vehicle, because I had heard he had some conversations with Marvel. He had, some conversations with DC, and ultimately, I think this does play to The Rock's strengths. I mean,
DC has broken that mold of you don't have to be too buff. John Cena, Peacemaker, they make a joke in that series about it. So I think they got the right person for Black Adam. I don't know much about it. That's why we're here to discuss it.
Yeah, Black Adam has ties to Shazam. He's given power by gods and everything. He's been around for 5,000 years. So,
hey, babyface, grab the mic and just lean back in your chair.
All right. But yeah, he been around for 5,000 years. He's died now. He's come back, and he can. I liken him to Namor because, like in the comics, they kind of look similar. The pointy ears and everything, and the hair and the arrogance and whatnot. And they both can play that role of villain or hero.
So at the very beginning, he says his son sacrificed himself for him.
I think you say sacrifice himself for his son or something like that. Yeah, in
So
the trailer.
are you familiar with the backstory of it? What can people expect
Kinda,
from this?
sort of.
For the average person.
For the average person, you're going to see The Rock because we're always so used to seeing him as that noble hero.
Such as?
Well, I mean,
I know what you mean.
Fast and Furious, pretty much like Scorpion King. He plays, just like they use a wrestling term. He plays the face very well, the baby face very well. So we're going to get to see him play
You think we're going to
either a heel or a tweener, because that's what Black Adam is. He kind of straddles that line between hero and villain. So The Rock Black Adam, like you said, hey, I kill people.
You made a great point. So he's not a hero. He's not a villain.
He's just someone in between who has his own set of beliefs.
Okay.
And it looks like Pierce Brosnan, who's playing Dr. Fate.
James Bond.
Yeah, GoldenEye. It looks like he's going to be kind of a mentor to him. Now, I'm going to tell you.
I'm getting vibes that he's probably the evil guy in this.
Dr. Fate? Dr. Fate is not really evil. He's actually a good guy. But he's also, if they're going, I don't know if they're going to go this route, but he's also Hawkman's son.
Okay.
Now, in the trailer, we saw,
yeah,
Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. He's an alien from the planet Thanagar. He's got the nth metal uniform.
Who else did we see?
We saw Atom Smasher, too. Noah Centineo, who was supposed to be He-Man. He's Atom Smasher. He's kind of like Ant-Man or the Atom. He can grow really big. And
yeah.
So, this, and we saw Sarah Shahi, who's going to be playing Isis. Now, we didn't get to see her, in a uniform or using her powers or anything like that. So I guess, that's going to be a reveal for the movie.
Okay. What's going to be your outlook for this film?
I think it's going to celebrate an anti-hero. It's going to say, okay, basically you had your Batman, you had your Superman.
Because DC hasn't done the anti-hero thing yet, really. And they kind of moved into it a little bit with the Batman.
Batman, yeah. But this one here, but Batman still had a code where he doesn't kill people.
Dude, it looked like he killed 3 people at that last scene.
Well, yeah. And it looks like he killed some people in Dawn of Justice, too.
Okay.
And I think in Justice League also. But, yeah, Batman has a code. Hey, Black Adam's like, hey, if your ass deserves to die, you die. You see in that trailer, he just whips that guy in the air, and that guy is just like, flying for days.
And his powers, you said, are equal or somewhat near Superman, or what's the deal?
Well, they want to portray him as because we don't know what's going on with Henry Cavill and WB.
I read WB wants him to stay. They want him.
Yeah, but they better hurry the fuck up fast because
what's going on there?
Okay, after Justice League came out, it was not even after, it was like before. They were saying that Cavill was out as Superman. Now, why would you? He's been like the best Superman you've had.
WB wanted him out.
Yeah, there was some rumors going around saying that he was done, that they were just officially done with him as Superman. Why would they do that? I don't know, because he's been the best Superman other than Tyler Hoechlin, and what's his name, Tom Welling. He's been like the best, Superman.
Yeah.
For that franchise, and it's just why. But I know they're gonna do they're talking about doing a black Superman with a black Clark Kent, which hey, I wouldn't mind seeing. But
is it in the comics or in source material?
I think it is in the yeah, it is in the comics where it's like in another universe, like another Earth.
That's what we can get into the multiverse with the Flash, maybe.
Yeah, and which Marvel has already beaten them to. Oh boy.
But Marvel's taking their movies have a different approach. It seems like we'll get into that a little bit later, though.
Of course, but the thing is, Marvel Comics, from what I can remember, never really used the multiverse all that much. DC did.
Interesting.
DC, if you ever read Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was really kind of like the first really big multiverse story for them.
Okay, so do you think Marvel knew DC's plan
Probably.
and we're like, we got to jump on this? Because it is starting to seem everything you watch has to do with the multiverse. Whatever, it could be on Netflix. Why are we in this age of multiverse?
Well, the thing is, it creates, new angles for stories. Like I remember Marvel did the kind of like the multiverse with What If.
I saw those.
Yeah, and in the comic book series, What If, has like certain scenarios like, hey, what if Peter Parker never got his powers, or, what if, I guess Wolverine was a vampire or something like that.
I really thought they would have Miles Morales in the Multiverse of Madness. I thought he was going to make an appearance.
There were some rumors about that, but I heard Miles Morales may have been coming to like the Tom Holland films. Like if Tom Holland ever wanted to hang it up, he can give the mantle over to Miles.
Dude, all I know is if you guys do not know about Miles Morales, go buy the Spider-Man game with Miles Morales. Way more fun. And I just found this out. What's the original Spider-Man name? It's not Peter Parker.
Original Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'll find it out.
With Ben Reilly, or
it's not Peter Parker apparently.
The original Spider-Man, huh? I thought it was
original Spider-Man name. But
that's the clone Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, but
Peter Palmer.
Oh, Palmer.
That apparently that might be the original name of Spider-Man, the most consistent. Is that true, or
I've never heard that.
Okay, so that's fact. That's fiction until we find out otherwise.
Yep. Guilty is proven innocent, I guess.
Episode 4, Kenobi, or is it Obi-Wan Kenobi? What's the actual name of this story?
Obi-Wan. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Or they should have just called it Ben, like the rat movie.
Is it me, or the 10 years his character? I feel like he's just playing too much Alec Guinness.
Well, that's kind of intentional.
But Alec Guinness wasn't afraid.
No, but the thing is, Obi-Wan was, because the thing is, you have to remember what happened. Order 66. All his Jedi brethren are gone, pretty much. So yeah, he is trying to hide out. He's scared. He's kind of, well, I gotta do something, because if I'm found out, I could die.
So episodes 1 through 4, they've dragged me. I feel like COVID obviously had some effect on how they shot episode 3 with the Kenobi Vader fight, which I think could have been done better. But if you're going to bring Hayden Christensen back and have him in that suit, is it worth it?
I don't really know if it is, because the thing is, remember, Vader just has that helmet on.
And it's not his voice. It's
James Earl Jones, the original Vader.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. OG. But
I have to imagine in episode 5 and 6 we're gonna get some.
Well, he's good, or we may even get a season 2.
But is it warranted for a season 2? Because right now
we'll just have to see. 5 and 6 have not come out yet, so we gotta see if
because John Campa earlier said, and I agree with his point here. He says episodes 1 through 4 I can get over. If episodes 5 and 6 are great, I'm past loving the show, he said, but I can still make it a positive. And also, do you think that Jon Favreau's not a part of this, right?
I don't think he is.
Why not?
I still think Dave Filoni is, but I mean, it could be just that he's trying to fix maybe the Book of Boba Fett.
He should have done this. Kenobi was their last card to really play, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can't do everything. He's already, committed. I mean, who knows what he has going on?
I think he didn't do it on purpose, maybe because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Maybe, but like I said, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. I mean, he did such a great job with The Mandalorian, and
season 2 dropped off for me.
You can't do everything. You know why? Because like season 2 was good, and then like Book of Boba Fett was season 2.5.
Which they should have just made Boba Fett a recurring character, like in the Star Wars films.
Yeah,
I think that would have worked better.
Oh yeah, and I don't, and you know, I wrote a review of episode 2 like years ago, and I didn't like the fact that we saw how Boba Fett was created. I just liked that he had this mysterious nature about himself and this mysterious backstory. You know, not everything needs to be fill in the blank.
I think that George Lucas even said, I think I may have overdone it after episode 1, but I was thinking about the same thing about Anakin Skywalker killing the younglings in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You don't if you don't do that, then you can. I feel like you're redeemable to be that Force ghost in the what was the last one?
Oh, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So same thing with Kylo Ren. He didn't kill kids, but he killed enough to where it was like, how do you still? Yeah, you shouldn't be a Force ghost.
Yeah. I don't know, man. it's
For people complaining about the Kenobi series, the same thing could be you can say about the prequels, this last trilogy, and you can't really say about the originals, but because that was original source material. Everything is. It seems like it's just a copycat. JJ copied.
well, for Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the exact same thing.
But you also have to remember we hadn't had a Star Wars film since 2005, so 10 years. You know, you have to kind of, I guess, reintroduce Star Wars.
I don't think you have to.
Well, I mean,
I think what their plan was, it's for the kids.
Yeah,
and we're seeing
in
that
this
in
new
all-
generation.
But we're seeing that with the Disney Plus. Like all their shows are geared, and I feel like this is they're out. Oh, we're making it for kids.
And that was George Lucas's out. Remember when he asked, like, "Well, the prequels are
Really?
so bad." Yeah, he even says like, "Well, the kids' movies." So
wow.
it's that same George Lucas logic. But Bad Batch was a damn good show. Clone Wars, a damn good show.
What do you think about the new one that's coming out after Kenobi? Andor.
You know, it's going to be a prequel to Rogue One.
And who's the actor reprising that role?
Diego Luna.
Fucking great actor.
Yeah. You know what? I'm waiting to see it. I mean, I'm always intrigued. I'll always watch, you know, all these series that come out just because I'm so curious about them. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good. You know, it's going to show like why he joined the Rebel Alliance. It's going to show like the the beginnings of it and what's like Kenobi's doing.
Do you think we should see Vader in that too?
Well, he appeared at the very end of Rogue One. I don't think so. Well, you know what? You can show him a little bit, but
I'm tired of that though.
But the thing is, you know, don't make it about him. Make it about Andor and like, you know, him joining the rebellion, showing why he did.
All right. So, who's the actress in Kenobi? The Inquisitor. Third sister.
Moses Ingram.
She's badass.
Yes,
she's
very evil.
She's getting a lot of hate, but it's
unjust hate, and it's turning racial too.
And that we always know that's fucked up. But this is my opinion on it. I think she's doing her job.
Yeah.
Same with Ewan McGregor. You can say what his character is. They're all performing. I think they needed to show more of Vader and how he's running the Empire. Like, he's not just hunting Kenobi.
One thing that they did show, and this is something that we were supposed to see, I think, in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Vader's living quarters. He has a castle on like a lava planet.
See, I'm surprised by that because I thought he hated lava, or is that where he spends his time now because of that?
It was
episode 3.
It's a they explained it, I think, on Screen Rant, like his little
shout to Screen Rant.
Yeah, and they said, you know what, it was constructed, you know, for him because when he's talking to Reva, he's got all this lava in the background, and you see him sitting on his throne, and he's talking to her. That was his living quarters.
Okay, so what do you think about my idea though that the reason she's getting so much hate is because the story is not focused enough about Obi-Wan and Vader, which we were kind of baited into thinking that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
I think she performs she's a great actress.
Yeah. I mean, you do see Obi-Wan. I mean, it is about Obi-Wan. I think it's more about Obi-Wan than it is his relationship with Anakin. He's got PTSD. You know, when he sees Vader, I mean, he's like, Anakin, what have you become? He's like, only what you made me.
But if you're writing the show for Kenobi,
I mean, yeah, you do have that, and they do have that in there because he keeps thinking about what happened and the mistakes that he made.
And when they put him in episode 4 at the very beginning, Kenobi into the water chamber. What's the proper?
The Bacta tank.
Yeah, him and Anakin Vader sense each other in there together. That's why he had to come out, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he also sensed him in the Bacta tank. And what was it at the end of the first episode?
He was like, because he realigned, because he saved Leia from falling, and then he's like, Anakin.
Yeah, and he's afraid of he can sense that new power.
Yeah, and like you said though, episode 4 showed him getting his mojo back, but it seemed that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He took on General Grievous in episode 3. I don't care. He's not that pathetic. You can, is it possible to detach yourself from the Force that much?
Yeah, it is. Well, think about it. A decade has passed.
He's probably around Qui-Gon's age or a little younger.
And he's also 10 years older. So think about it. You still have the muscle memory. It's kind of like what happened to me. I took about 3 years off of jiu-jitsu.
I can tell. No, you look great.
I still had the muscle memory, but you have to, until you get back into the swing of things, you're not going to be what you once were. Kind of like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but don't you think they're banking too much on that? To drag it out? Because it was originally a movie, correct?
Yeah, they were trying to, that and Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, they were originally movies.
Mandalorian, I think, was great because it's simplistic, but it seems like all these shows they all look alike now.
Well, and and that's why Solo had to be reshot, because Solo was going to be more of like an action comedy.
I liked Solo. I don't know. Yeah, you didn't.
I did.
I actually loved it.
I loved Solo, but the guys who were directing it, they were going to make it different than Star Wars. It was still going to be in the universe, but it was going to be. They said it was looking more like an action comedy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And we don't know if that's the truth.
Yeah, and
for all we know, most of it is what they shot probably.
Well, Ron Howard came in and redid some things, but
Ron Howard.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that,
how they all look the same.
It's like this. Star Wars is about difference. I mean, you got so many characters,
so many planets.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can make a horror. I mean, if you've ever read any of the comics, I mean, there's comedy, there's lighthearted stories, there's horror stories, there's straight sci-fi stuff. I mean, straight fantasy stuff.
Even though Kathleen Kennedy said there's no source material.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to all that expanded universe, which they call Star Wars Legends now. You can make different stuff and have it still be set in the same universe. You have to remember that Han Solo movie was a prequel. Okay. So the thing is, you can make that different. This is not the Han Solo that we saw in, A New Hope. That was, that sly, cunning, rogue.
Right.
This is a guy that's wet behind the ears, rough around the edges.
It's like the Batman Pattinson's character. He's
he
still figuring it out.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a Star Wars movie. Kathleen Kennedy saying that, it has to feel like a Star Wars movie. They're kind of like stuck in the past, and it's like, let's chart new territory.
Just like Black Adam.
Yeah, I mean, not everything is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You have to play with many different superheroes, and that's why Marvel is good at what they do. They give you something for everybody. You don't like Earthbound stuff? Well, hey, we got Guardians of the Galaxy. They're doing a space shit.
Dude, did you hear about the Star Wars hotel?
Yeah.
I heard it's a disaster.
Well, I mean, hey, man. I mean, I think
if anyone hasn't heard of the Star Wars hotel, go check it out. It's worth a review watch on YouTube. But I want to get into the next topic, Brody.
All right, you know what? Let's talk about since we were talking about comics before and DC
and Marvel.
Spending a lot of time in DC. Joker 2, which I think is unnecessary.
Whoa, why?
Because the thing is, I don't think that movie really lends itself to a sequel.
You don't think Todd Phillips, director of the Hangover trilogy, a lot more movies, not just comedies. Oscar. This movie won an Oscar for Joaquin.
Yeah.
You don't think they can make this into a different universe with a different Batman, or you think they can intertwine? I just don't understand how they're gonna. When are you gonna let the Picasso painting sit and stop trying to repaint it?
Yeah, and that's my whole thing. I mean, it's like it's just unnecessary. It ended on a good note. You can think, okay, yeah, you see the Bruce Wayne of that universe. Hey, his parents are dead in the alley, and you know what's coming next.
And the poetry about the Batman is when Falcone dies, it's in alley-ish, and
Yeah,
it's like that's the poetry of it.
yeah, and I just don't think that it's necessary. But since it is official, right?
It is, and Joaquin's on it.
Okay, so where did they go? I mean,
All
Harley Quinn. Could we see like a Harley Quinn?
good point, because as much as we see Joker, we haven't seen a successful. I mean, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, was great, but she was the only good thing it seemed about the Suicide Squad. I thought Will Smith kicked ass before the. I mean, say what you want with the slap. I thought Deadshot was fucking. That was a great character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Deadshot is a great
It's
character.
over, Deadshot. But Harley Quinn's interesting. My brother didn't like that idea though, because he said it wasn't in the comics; it was only in the cartoons.
well, yeah, the Harley Quinn was created especially for the Batman the Animated Series show.
And in the Joker, he was the last scene he was at the hospital, correct?
No. Remember the last scene? He's creating all the anarchy.
Okay.
I think it kind of ends on Bruce finding his parents dead.
You're right about that. You're right.
Yeah, because the thing is, I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, they really went there.
Because
For the last scene.
Joaquin in that movie is maybe like 48, 45. He's not 30, unless he's a very unhealthy 30. So if 10 years pass, Bruce is 18, 19.
In this one, I think he's about 8 years old. So yeah, he could be, roughly 18, 19, 18 to 20, 21 maybe. So he's probably just becoming Batman. Just now come back from his world travels of training his body and his mind to peak condition. But I don't want another Batman versus Joker story. I think it's been done to death.
I agree.
But I mean, like I said, we don't need another Batman versus Joker story. I'm not even sure where they're gonna go from here. Maybe it's just like, with the Joker, kind of firmly establishing himself. We can see Batman as like a Jaws presence, like where he's, you don't have
Like
to
a Vader in the background.
yeah,
not
like
a
where he's
villain.
where the thing is, they know of one another. They know of one another.
You think
but they're
they're
not
related?
gonna meet. No, fuck no. Remember, it was already debunked that he's not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was debunked that he wasn't Thomas Wayne's kid.
I think where it could be successful, but they kind of ruined it with the first one, is that they showed the Waynes. If they just said it was the Joker, it's just a Joker, you can play it off as a spin-off. But now that you introduce the Waynes, maybe we're not getting Bruce. What about any other villains?
Yeah, we could get.
Would you like that?
Harley Quinn, or hey, maybe you can do Penguin. But see, Penguin was done very well by Colin Farrell.
Dude, Colin Farrell, that movie for a lot of people moves slow because every shot by Matt Reeves is beautifully done.
And it's deliberate, and he wastes nothing.
He doesn't. And Christopher Nolan, people are used to that because it's fast cut. It doesn't always look perfect. You see Spider-Man at the Spider-Man 3 poster in the background in Dark Knight when he's about to rob the bank. But every little detail, if you appreciate cinematography, is beautifully shot.
And just directing in general.
Yeah. And Pattinson and Zoe were like, we tried to do it one way, and then Matt's like, "That's good. Just let's try it my way. Let's try."
Yeah, I mean, I just don't have much faith in Joker 2. I think, and look, I like Todd Phillips. I love his Hangover trilogy, but not everything needs to have a sequel to it. Not everything needs to have a trilogy to it.
I
Just
like
just
the
be one
Hangover
and done.
trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best trilogy. It's the same movie every time. If you show somebody Hangover 3, they would laugh just as hard as if they watched Hangover 1, but then it'd be the same thing after that. So
I mean,
you think he's going to have that same formula, or he has to change it up?
maybe he has to change it up for this one.
Give him credit. Comedy's the hardest genre.
Yeah.
So, and he's proven he can take source material from different movies. But how many times are we gonna kind of like do that?
Yeah, I mean,
Make something new, fresh. I'm tired of superhero movies, spin-offs. Like, think about let's spin off into this. Thor Love and Thunder. The first commercial, everyone's like, okay, there's like backlash for Natalie Portman. Why?
shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be. She's gonna kick ass. And she's just beautiful.
And she's got them guns, dude. Have you seen
And
her
she's a
arms?
great actor.
Yeah.
But where was my point?
Well, you said
Thor Love and Thunder,
yeah.
trailer one, it looked really, really kiddie almost. And then the second trailer comes out. People didn't know Bale was Gore.
Yeah, I did. I knew he was attached.
We talked about it you told me. You and Sam told me, my brother. So second half of that commercial, when he comes in, what are you expecting from this film? Because the director
Taika Waititi.
well, he's great. Watch Free Guy if you haven't.
Watch What We Do in the Shadows.
I will. Dude, he said this is the best villain Marvel has ever seen.
And they say it's scary.
Christian Bale is the best villain.
And
Marvel
see, the
has
thing
ever seen.
is, one thing with these trailers, people tend to overreact and freak out before they've really seen anything.
I have a pet peeve about that in trailer reactions. We'll talk later.
And look, okay, the trailer is just that, a trailer. It's meant to tease and tantalize and show you just enough to pique your interest. Sometimes what they show, may not look good in a certain context because we're not watching the entire movie. We're just watching snippets of different shit.
Yeah, but people have become so good, especially with these trailer reactions, of saying, "Oh wait, that's not the same fire in the background as this." They're trying to trick us.
Yeah, and sometimes, like the thing is, they may remove certain characters.
Marvel's famous for
yeah.
yeah.
Well, they did that in
No Way Home. They took
yeah.
out the two other Spider-Mans in the final battle.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, they do that, but I'm saying it as like, oh, this looks like shit. That looks like shit. Because the thing is, they were saying Christian Bale looks like Uncle Fester. And he kind of does. But the character in the comics looked like that. Gore, isn't it?
What's interesting about the trailer is that in one shot you see him with the lines on his head, and then in the other shot it's not there. And in the comics, apparently, right, like he had like these, not horns, but kind of like Jar Jar Binks things.
Yeah.
They eventually went away, or
I guess so.
or they're just not going that route with it, I think.
They might. I mean, like I said, we haven't seen everything. We don't know the shots that they've shown us could have been when they go away.
And it's so nice to see them continue Thor, because apparently people didn't like the first couple until Ragnarok.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think they were.
Is that when the director came on board?
Yeah, Taika Waititi. Yeah, because the first one was Kenneth Branagh. I forget who the second one.
I liked them all, to be honest.
But Thor: The Dark World, I
get what you're saying, but
yeah. But to me, I like Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's the one. Dude, 310 to Yuma I watched last week. Beautiful music.
Swing
Hostiles,
Kids, Newsies,
Hostiles.
American Psycho.
What's that one with Colin Farrell and Bale? It was in 2005. Sam told me to watch it. I'll figure it out. But Christian Bale, people often forget with Batman and Dark Knight, Heath Ledger overshadowed Christian Bale just because, unfortunately, he passed away. So people don't...
And his performance was great.
It was amazing. That's why we talked about it earlier. You don't repaint the Picasso.
Yeah. And I mean, Christian Bale, I'm sure, is going to be a great villain. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for a very long time.
What makes a great villain? In my opinion, it's the fact that they think they're not the villain.
They think what they're doing is correct. Much like Magneto. Killmonger, Doctor Doom,
Black Adam.
yeah, Apocalypse, Thanos.
Thanos is that's why Thanos works so well. But what do you think? I mean, Bale, in my opinion, he's going to bring something to this universe that I think could be a positive shift for everybody. Because once Infinity War ended, Endgame, people liked it, but kind of was like, all right, now what?
Well, of course, because they built up for so long. That was 10 years to get to Thanos.
And now the Russo brothers are saying there is no plan.
Well, they don't have one. Kevin Feige, maybe he has one. He hasn't put all his cards on the table yet.
Are you a Kevin Feige like worshiper?
You know what? I've met the man twice.
Probably a beautiful person.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these the last couple films he's made.
And
Even though Sam Raimi did
but
multiverse.
Yeah, and what I mean, I'm going somewhere with it. I've talked to him about, different things.
Kevin Feige?
Yeah, his, having a plan and everything. He has a plan, and they had a retreat recently where they plotted out all the movies that are coming out within the next, I guess, 5 to 10 years.
How long ago was this?
I think this was probably about, I'd say it was in the last 6 to 9 months.
How'd you have a conversation with Kevin fucking Feige?
This was at a Comic-Con. It was like 2 years in a row.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just walking. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody was really talking to him or anything like that.
Did he have that hat on?
Yeah, and I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm walking. I'm just like, I know you. And he looked like a guy who worked for Activision that I was talking to earlier. And I was like, you know what? You look like this guy who works for Activision. And he was like, you know what? I think I might be. Like, I was like, what's your name? And he turns around and says Kevin Feige on it. I was like, oh, shit.
Okay, this was recent. So that's beautiful to hear. That's breaking news, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else knows that.
And then I met him again the next year. I almost bumped into him. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And he was like, oh, no problem. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's Kevin Feige. Took a picture with him.
Did he remember you after a while?
Not really.
I wouldn't forget you. You have a beautiful voice.
But he thank you. But yeah, he took a picture with me. He was totally cool.
And
but
he said they had the movies planned out.
Yeah. And he was telling me, I was like, well, how do you go about determining what characters you're going to use, or the different storylines and how all this stuff is going to come together? And he told me about the retreats, and he's on the phone with writers and constantly brainstorming and planning. He's like, we plan things out,
in advance.
Yeah,
way in
advance. And so this is what he's doing now. He said, I think they have it up to like the next maybe 5-6 years. So he only he and a few select people know what's coming down the pike.
So back to my original question: do you think that's the best way to do it? Because let's be,
you can pivot.
Let's be unbiased here.
Okay.
Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi. A lot of Easter eggs with his old Evil Dead films, which were pretty funny and cool. Yeah. But what do you think? I mean, for No Way Home, Spider-Man, that was Feige, right?
Yeah. He does pretty much all the Marvel TV that you're seeing now on Disney Plus, all the movies since Iron Man, that's him.
Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
Okay, I've liked most of them.
Yeah.
Everything on Disney Plus, I don't.
Yeah, and
but that's to a different audience, I think.
Well, especially Ms.
For the
Marvel,
kids,
especially Ms. Marvel, which we'll get to. But being unbiased, I think
don't hate on Ms. Marvel.
You do have to have a plan of where you're going to go. Look at how Star Wars turned out, the original trilogy. I mean, not the original trilogy.
No, this last trilogy.
Yeah, the last trilogy.
Great fucking point.
And they had a story worked out for the first one, but then it was like, okay, well, you should have had everything mapped out where you're going to go from point A to Z.
Yes.
Because the thing is, that trilogy, as much as I did like the choices that were made with The Last Jedi, and then, you had, the name of the last one escapes me.
Rise, The Last Skywalker? Or
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
I don't know.
but, take away our geek cards. But anyway.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can kind of see the disjointedness of it.
I liked Rian Johnson's.
Yeah, I liked his choice.
I just think they should have put him for the first one, too.
I think they probably should have put him for all of them.
Yeah.
Because I think he made some bold choices.
And it felt Star Warsy, and it was different.
I mean, having Luke die, that to me, wow.
Like, just imagine if Vader killed the Emperor and said, now you join me, instead of Obi-Wan was right, and then passes away.
Joss Whedon had that was his whole plan. He said if he would have done the trilogy, he would have had Luke join the dark side, give in.
How do you think that would have turned out?
Well, because Leia would have been the one to probably bring balance.
Who's also a stronger Jedi, right?
Yeah, she's a stronger Force user, and they even show that.
They showed it, but didn't she have to put her lightsaber away because she saw what it would do to Ben Solo, Kylo Ren?
I guess so. I mean, I was kind of unclear on that. But
See, that's something with that last trilogy that they tried to fit in there that just didn't quite add up, especially with Luke being a hermit. He's not gonna, are you gonna kill your grandson in his sleep? And then I had a moment of revelation. Like, if your uncle has a gun to your head, I don't care what was going through your mind. We're not talking. And the way they're starting to, show the dark side or the Sith compared to the Jedi, because the Jedi, that's why I love Qui-Gon, played by Liam Neeson. He was just one with the Force.
Yeah, he was a maverick.
Obi-Wan, played by Ewan McGregor, didn't always agree with him.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't really want to train Anakin, but he made a promise to Qui-Gon. And we're seeing in the Kenobi series, the mistakes. And like you said, we're probably going to see Liam Neeson come back for that 5th or 6th episode and make an appearance, because he did in the last trilogy for Rey. Everyone came back for that one to save it, even Palpatine. But do you think we'll see Palpatine in the Kenobi series?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, we could. I mean, he's still. I mean, given the time frame, he's still alive.
Great actor too.
Yeah, Ian McDermott. Yeah. But back to back to Marvel. Am I a Kevin Feige loyalist? Yeah, because he hasn't really done very much wrong. I like the TV shows. I have seen what this guy's doing. You have to plan it out. Look at what happened with WB also. WB, I mean, even though they're not so interconnected, there wasn't a definite plan. That Justice League movie was just a knee-jerk reaction to the Avengers.
That is so goddamn true.
They shoehorned in Batman, Superman,
which kind of ruined Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah, because it's like the movies failed him, and much like Ben Affleck's Batman. And he didn't fail the movies failed him.
That's one of your best quotes.
So, like with Kevin Feige planning everything out.
And the fact that he told you that in person at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Well, not 6 months ago. It was more.
A year ago.
Well, it was more than a year ago. It was probably about around 2014, 2015.
Okay, so.
But still.
You got to imagine.
But still.
They're doing that still.
Yeah, they are. Because it's working for them. The thing is, there's so many moving parts to films. So many moving parts to doing something so ambitious as they did with, this whole 10-year, run where, you hint at Thanos. He's the big bad, overarching bad.
Appearing in Guardians first?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was at the end of Avengers.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of Avengers, he appeared, and in the post-credit scene.
Okay.
And so the thing is, that 10-year buildup, that's how you build a villain. You don't just give us, just like they built to Avengers in 2012.
Yeah.
We each had movies, highlighting different characters. Then you bring them all together so you don't have to go, okay, well,
who's
why does
Darkseid in Justice League?
Darkseid is basically.
No. I'm just saying, it's like people don't know, and that's a great character. That's a great character.
Very good character. And it's just kind of, once again, shoehorned in. I mean, so the thing is, you got to take your time. You're going to have to.
And also, COVID happened, and they had a backlog of stuff they're ready to show. Doctor Strange was supposed to come out a while ago.
It's supposed to come out, I think, last year.
Morbius got delayed, and then they had to re-edit it. I actually liked Morbius. I watched it. I know, but I watched it as its own movie, and I see what Leto brought, and I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just a bad movie.
It's not what you would expect it to be when we first saw it.
No,
they had to change it, but I think for what it is, it's not a bad watch if it's free on TV.
That's true.
But sticking with Marvel, what about Ms.Marvel? Aired last night. literally in the middle of the night.
Yeah. It's a very, very energetic. It gives those Spider-Man vibes. And it's a
Are you
teenage. It's a
saying that,
teenage
or is
hero.
that what you're hearing from people? Because I keep hearing
I
that.
watched it. I watched the.
Okay, so you back that up.
Yeah, so I do back that up. It's another. She's a social outcast. In high school.
Which we can all relate to in a way.
Yeah, I mean it's
I
happened
switched
to
high
just-
schools.
Yeah, it's happened to every one of us. But she's a young hero. She has
She's
this
a great actor, by the way. What's her
Yeah.
name?
Iman Valeri,
Dude, she's really good.
and this is her first. She's a rookie.
Good for her. Only 15, you said?
I think 15, 16, yeah.
Probably 13, 14 when she was filming.
Yeah. I mean, because I remember the last year they had with the reshoots and stuff like that.
Yep.
But hey, whatever happened, I mean,
They
and
get-
reshoots are not always a bad thing.
No,
they
they're not.
They try to make it. The media tries to make reshoots. Oh, they're doing reshoots as a bad thing. Usually, when they reshoot something, it's to improve upon, or if something wasn't working, and they try to go back and improve it.
We learned that in our acting school. That happens more often than we know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shit.
But everything is getting over-reported. You got everybody reporting on Kathleen Kennedy, Kevin Feige. It's like, guys, can we just
enjoy.
open our gifts on Christmas?
Yeah, just enjoy. I mean, that's why sometimes I don't really read spoilers, but since we're doing this podcast, I mean, you do go and
if you're watching this, expect spoilers.
Yeah, and in the news and everything, because that's just the nature of what we do. But
so in episode 1, what did you like? What did you hate?
I liked that she captured it. If you ever played you've played the Avengers game, right?
I didn't like it.
But Kamala Khan's
Yeah,
story,
right.
It kind of plays out like this because she goes to an Avengers con, she and in the game at the Avengers con is how she she's exposed to that Terrigen mist, so that's how she gets her powers. Here it's not the Terrigen mist. She has an old relic from her grandmother's box. She sent
Any
a bunch
relation
of her
to
stuff.
Shang-Chi?
It is the little gauntlets that she has on her give her powers.
Do you see that in episode 1?
Yes, you do.
Is that how it ends?
It ends with basically, she's realizing, hey, I'm becoming what I've always fantasized about.
And do you think there's a subtext of her?
Once again, Peter Parker vibes.
Yeah, and do you think there's a subtext of her finding that? Was she meant to find it, or? I mean, it's like, I'll go to my attic right now and look for that if I can find it.
It was basically sent in the mail, and she has it, and her mother just dismisses it as junk.
Okay,
and she looks at it and it's like, huh, this is cool. It's like, no, this is junk.
You think Brie Larson's coming in?
Well, the movie The Marvels is happening.
But didn't one of the Marvels get killed in
Oh, that was a different universe.
Okay.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. I think Monica Rambeau dies in that reality, in the 616 reality.
I think she should still be alive from that, bro.
Well, I think she has cancer or something like that. So they've kind of alluded to her dying, but because her daughter in WandaVision,
yeah,
that's her daughter.
Okay, I didn't know
but,
that.
yeah, but
so
Ms. Marvel was that light series. It's now you said that you couldn't get through it. I mean, I understand. It's something.
Well,
that's,
I couldn't get through it for one reason.
Why is that?
I was getting ready for this podcast, and the NBA Finals were on.
Yeah,
but I watched the first 30 minutes. I think they have the energy with the Weekend Blinding Lights intro, but I think it's a show that you watch with your family.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not a bad thing.
No, it's not Hawkeye. It's not Captain America. It's not Loki.
It's not Spider-Man.
No,
but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lighthearted series, and it's probably going to be more for that teen genre.
I think it's fourth, third, second.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
You have to have a show to watch with your kids.
Yeah, even teenagers too. You have something to watch.
Every review I've seen on YouTube with parents with daughters, their daughters are just like, "Oh my god, this is awesome." You need that.
Yeah, you need more female heroes. I mean, you had Black Widow. You had Wanda.
And I think one of the complaints I heard was that I heard her parent. I thought she's supposed to be Pakistani. Her parents are sounding Indian. It's like, come on, guys. Like, you're nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got representation for the South, the South Asian crowd.
So, how many episodes are we getting of Miss Marvel?
I think maybe 6 to 12, I guess.
6 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure for sure. I mean, I can look that up real quick.
But you think it's going to be better than Kenobi?
So far, I mean, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges.
I know I am, but we got to make that comparison. Is it apple season? Is it orange season?
I mean, the thing is,
it seems like it was the perfect storm for them to release it week 4.
After.
Yeah, like in the middle of Kenobi, and they probably knew that it was gonna.
The 6 episodes, because I think 6 episodes, and then I think in that 6th episode, they're probably going to set up, her going to the films
for the movie.
Marvels.
Do you think it dragged episode 1? Because that's what John C. said, and John Campa.
maybe some things, but to me, I had no problem watching it. I mean, I liked the actress playing her, so I mean,
anyone else stand out?
The kid who played Bruno, I like the parents too. It's just mainly her.
Why is there so much?
She carries that episode 1.
She is good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no villain, there's no threat right now. The only threat is her parents and the high school guidance counselor and one of the more popular girls in school. Now, those are the threats right now.
But
it's almost like Bill and Ted a little bit too, where the first film there was no.
There's
villain.
Kids listening. I don't know if they know that.
Yeah, well, go back and watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. There was no villain in that one. The only villain was time.
Yeah.
So there really is no villain here just yet. This is only first episode.
Do you have any predictions on how it's going to wrap into the movie, the Marvels?
She's probably going to get the attention of one of them. She's going to get.
I hope it's Brie, dude.
Seeing Brie, come in. I mean, she's probably going to get the attention, or she's probably going to figure out some way, to get. She's gonna capture their attention. This is what I'm predicting.
Whoever sent her that is coming for her, maybe.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you watch Shang-Chi, remember
which is a great movie. I watched it. It's one of my it's in my top 10.
And his little gauntlets bracelets are just like hers. It looks just like hers, and so there has to be some connection there too. Her finding out just what the fuck these bracelets are.
And we'll leave this topic with this. Why do you think they changed the powers?
Maybe because they're trying to get away from the Inhumans, which I wouldn't really try to, but I guess I think there was an interview of why they did it, and I didn't read it. So
to me, that's the equivalent of a reshoot. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it is not a big deal.
But what's hilarious is the creator of the comic, the character, is basically fired for sexual misconduct. You didn't read about this? Yeah.
It's a lady who created the character.
Yeah, she's you won't see her anywhere. She's not promoting it anywhere. She was, remember? She had a sexual scandal, and basically she's going to get her money from this.
Oh, wait a minute. So she was sexually harassed her?
She sexually harassed a guy, or 2 guys or something, like separately. Hey, it happens. But we'll find out if that's true.
Huh.
But Ms. Marvel, episode 1, what do you give it? A, B, C?
A. I give it an A.
Kenobi, episode 4?
I really like it. I really liked
A, B, C?
I give it a B+. Sung Kang is really good in it too.
Isn't that Han from Fast and Furious? Yeah, dude.
I had to kind of look that up. I was like,
they made him.
Looks familiar. I thought it was Benedict Wong.
Dude, episode 1 of Kenobi, enough. Like, that energy. Just like that energy Colin Farrell brought to the Batman when he got chased down by Pattinson's Battinson. And he's like, what is this? Good cop, bad shit cop? Like, he brought that energy.
Yeah.
And, man, I can't wait to see more, and we'll give you guys more.
Hey out there in podcast land. You are listening to Common Construct with me, Jason Elliott, and Sean Z. Follow us on all the social media apps and listen to us wherever you download your podcasts. Catch you later.
You're going to hate me, right? All right. We have an encore topic, as we call it here. NBA Finals Game 3 is officially in the books. Celtics lead 2-1. I predicted Golden State would win. Klay Thompson doesn't look sure in either of his legs.
He's looking. You know what? He's playing like Detlef Schrempf played in the '96 finals.
Who made a cameo appearance in Parks and Recreations, by the way.
I hated him growing up.
Why? What was wrong with Detlef?
Well, Detlef Schrempf. Remember, he played. Well, you may not remember this, but he played with the Supersonics, and the Supersonics used to beat the Rockets all the time in the regular season and the playoffs. We had trouble with them.
No, I remember. Me and Sam grew up watching and rewatching.
I mean, it was just we never could beat them, and he was one of those key cogs.
We didn't face them when we went to the finals, did we?
No, Denver and the Lakers eliminated them in the first round those 2 years.
Was that the year Denver upset?
Yeah, the number 8 seed beat the number 1 seed.
Then it was the Warriors against the Mavericks, and it's become pretty common almost.
Yeah, Warriors and Mavericks. I think it was 2003.
I wasn't. No, that was when the Mavericks won the championship when I was in Iran. But that was a hell of a series.
Yeah, 11. Yeah,
but that was the year the Mavericks beat us in the first round.
2005.
Which was a rigged series, according to Tim Donahue or whatever.
Well, it was 2005 because they were going after Yao Ming.
Tim Donahue, yeah.
Because Van Gundy said something about it.
Van Gundy knows what's up.
Yeah.
I was rewatching Yao Ming's Hall of Fame speech. Every time he's like, I want to say something to the city of Houston. You stood by me through the good and bad times. I'm a Texan and a Houston Rocket for life. Dude, I cry every time I watch that. That guy cared so much.
But he was just too tall. Too tall and too big.
Did you know he broke his foot twice before being drafted? I did not know that.
Yeah. And then, he broke his foot, I want to say this was, 07, 08, and 09. Because we would have gone to the finals. We would have won the championship.
Yeah.
09 at least.
When he got hurt against the Lakers. And
then T-Mac got hurt, too.
T-Mac got hurt in the season, though.
Yeah.
We had Artest.
Before, yeah.
But, dude, our lineup, I was rewatching that Game 2, Game 1, Aaron Brooks, quick score. Shane Battier, Ron Artest. Everyone can defend, score except for Aaron Brooks. Luis Scola, who is probably one of the most underrated motherfuckers.
I loved him, dude.
Played till he's 40. He had to end his basketball career during COVID for the FIBA. They lost, but dude, he is a professional. I got to meet him one time, shook his hand.